Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. Those of you who are regular followers of my work know I write a monthly column for the Mensa publication, The Intelligencer, and I like to give you an advance look at what that column's going to be like. So this is my next one. The theme that the editor has given us is earliest memories, and I'm calling this one My Maiden Musical Memories. I was 4, and my mother walked me on a leash because I had been known to wander off. One day, we passed a vacant lot on which kids were banging on a rickety, rained-on, snowed-on piano. After all, it was the Bronx, not the Bay Area where I live now. The kids were trying to play, I later learned, chopsticks. When they got bored and walked away, I tried it. Wrong note, wrong note, wrong note, wrong note, wrong note, wrong note. Oh, that seems like the right first note. More trial and mainly error, and I made progress. The ongoing instant feedback started to train my ear. I said, Mommy, Mommy, can you get me a piano? That was music to my mother's ear. But new immigrant parents living in a Bronx tenement, all they could afford was a $50 very used Spinet, the smallest size that's short of a toy. My mom hired a piano teacher for one lesson. She wasn't going to spring for more than one unless the teacher said I showed promise. He didn't. Idiotically, I argued with him that the squiggle on the page he called a C was really a D. So he said to my mom, I think Martin isn't quite old enough for piano lessons. But the piano was there in my apartment, so I fooled around with it. I kept getting better at chopsticks, and then Mary Had a Little Lamb. Then I tried to play along with the record player. I think the first record we had was The Witch Doctor. You may not remember it, but it has fascinating lyrics. Ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bing, bang. In retrospect, not having lessons turned out to be fortuitous. That meant I couldn't read music. My only choice was to play by ear. Throughout elementary school, after school, I would try to play along with my favorites on the record player. I recall trying Dion's Runaround Sue, Neil Sedaka's Calendar Girl, and later, Peter Nero's People. In a particular manifestation of my nerdiness, I also tried to imitate the honky-tonk piano player on the Lawrence Welk Show, Joanne Castle. After school one day in the 4th grade, I snuck into the school auditorium and played on his excellent Mason and Hamlin Grand. I hoped that someone would hear me and praise me. The custodian kicked me out. But I was asked to play a song at 6th grade graduation. It was my fantasy come true. The auditorium was packed with kids and their parents. I was so happy that after I played it and got loud applause, I somehow thought it was okay to play an encore. But as soon as I started, a teacher yanked me away. In junior high, a kid, Jules Bayless, asked if I wanted to play piano on a gig on New Year's Eve at the Montauk Point Air Force Base. Along with him, he played sax, and another kid, Ken Sokoloff, a drummer. We would get $25 apiece, and I was thrilled. Of course, we were all too young to drive, so we took a cab. Little did I know that Montauk Point was a $100 cab ride away. A lot of money back in '63, especially for kids. When we got there, we realized we didn't have the money. Fortunately, one of the soldiers paid, but that wasn't the end of our problems. After the gig, it was 2 a.m. How were we going to get back? No problem, we thought. The Long Island Railroad was cheap. Jules carried his sack, and I helped Kent with the drums for the few-block trek through a blizzard to the train station, where we saw a sign, New Year's Day hours. First train, noon. So we spent the night in a Montauk Point winter storm, and that was my first piano gig. My second gig was better. Jules introduced me to Nat Mash, who booked musicians. The first job he got me was in a Bronx bar. Picture a callow 13-year-old Jew boy leading a bunch of Irish drunks slurring Danny Boy and when Irish eyes are smiling. One day after going bowling, I noticed a sign, Stephen Scott Orchestras. I walked in and asked if they needed a piano player. I was only 13, so I'd imagine the guy thought I couldn't play. He apparently wanted to prove it, so he said, Okay, kid, play To Shadow Your Smile. That's a song with difficult chord changes in the key of F sharp, a difficult key. I did it, and he hired me. And that began my teenagehood playing 2,000 weddings and bar mitzvahs. In the summers, I got gigs in the Catskills. First, it was in bungalow colonies, where middle-class New Yorkers escape a few degrees of the heat to live in crude cabins. On the weekends, those colonies had a misnamed community room called a casino. I played standards, dance tunes, and show tunes, accompanied singers, and on Saturday nights, a stripper. I had never seen a naked woman before, and so my mouth was open, something one audience member wouldn't let by. He cried, Look at the piano player with his mouth open! I slammed it shut. I played those gigs not just for the money or pleasure. I wasn't very social, and playing gigs gave me a socially acceptable excuse to minimize socializing. But finally, when I graduated college, I had had enough Hava Nagila, the tarantella, manufactured frivolity, and buffets that I couldn't often enough resist. Now I play mainly for fun, including at Mensa regional gatherings. In any case, that's my next column for the Intelligencer. As usual, I hope you like it. Welcome your thumbs up, and of course accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.